The last time I was in London, something unexpected happened. I found myself lingering and slowing down and feeling generally inspired simply by wandering into bookshops. And it reminded me of something I deeply believe, and that is that inspiration often shows up when we give ourselves permission to be curious. And stay with me to the end because one of these shops offers the most thoughtful book subscription program I have ever seen, and it stopped me in my tracks. I know it will you too. Well, hello, my friends. This is Sharri Harmel here. And in this new series, I'm going to take you into beautiful bookstores around the globe, not just to admire them, but to notice what they stir up inside of us. Because bookshops are not just about books, are they? They're about possibility. So, the first one I'm taking you to is Hatchards. And there's something I have to say wonderfully grounding about stepping into Hatchards. It's on Piccadilly Street in London. It's London's oldest bookshop, founded in 1797. Incredible. And you can feel that history the moment you walk in. What struck me here, though, wasn't just the beauty, it was the continuity of this bookstore. So let's go take a look.
Okay, we are now going into Hatchards. The oldest bookshop in the UK was founded in 1797, and it is still under royal warrant, believe it or not. Very interesting. What else can I tell you? In 1998, Hatchards became part of Waterstones, which is, believe it or not, run by James Daunt of Daunt Books, that I will show you or have shown you in Marylebone. Waterstones is more of a chain. I think Hatchards is just fascinating, and in fact their podcasts, just so you know, are really wonderful. Here's another one, Chanel Haute Couture, edited by Sophia Coppola. Okay, so they also do, which is really interesting, they do publishing. And Mildred Lathbury is one of the excellent women who is often taken for granted. So fascinating, because every year they do a beautiful self-published book. So here are several. Interesting. These are, it's sort of like Persephone Books, if you know Persephone Books, where they republish books that are old books that are no longer traditionally published. It's really a fascinating concept. We should do that in America. I should start one of those companies. So pretty. You can get these all over the world. They're still pretty. Some of these things are true and some of them are lies, but they are all good stories. Kids love their mysteries, don't they? Is that a cute book cover? What a business. Jilly Cooper just passed away. She was a good friend of Queen Camilla's. What we know, which is not much. always have interesting books laid out. I thought this was fascinating. Goes on my list. I don't know why I'm obsessed with country houses, given I will never have one. But that said, I do. But you can see how this is so much more homey.
Well, that was amazing. Generations of readers stood exactly where I was standing. They walked the steps that I walked, looking for answers, ideas, escape, or simply a good story. It's 5 floors of books. And it's just down the streets down the street, I should say, from the Ritz and the Worsley, which is a wonderful historic restaurant, great place for lunch. So keep that in mind. At this stage of life, the continuity of Hatchards actually matters. It reminds us that as women, we have reinvented, we have restarted, and we have reimagined our lives long before midlife was even a phase. We are the embodiment of continuity, as is Hatchards, right? It's a quiet reminder. You're not late. You're right on time. Now, next, I'm going to take you to Daunt Books in Marylebone, which actually might be one of my favorite places on earth. It was founded in 1990 by James Daunt. It feels old in that building. It's very interesting, which you will, I think, get a sense of through the video. But it was founded, what is that, 35 years ago, roughly. James Daunt, though, is amazing because he is now the CEO not only of Daunt Books, but also of Waterstones, which is a very large bookstore chain in the UK. And he is also the CEO of Barnes & Noble in the USA. His leadership has actually saved Barnes & Noble. And there's some very interesting interviews with James Daunt about that whole process and what has changed. Daunt Books, though, began as a travel bookshop. So when you walk in, it's kind of evolved over time, but as you walk in, you will see all kinds of, current day books. But as you move into the stomach of the bookstore, if you want to call it that, you could see that the books are all arranged by geographic areas, whether it be continents or countries or that sort of thing. So it's fascinating that you could, let's say you're interested in going to France or Germany or Japan or, Australia, something of that sort. You go to that particular section in the bookstore, and it's not just nonfiction. It's not just travel books. It's also fiction that has been written that took place in that particular area. So it's a wonderful place to go to, I don't know, envision some sort of future vision even of yourself. So that's why I think I love this bookstore. You see travel books there, you see memoirs there, you will see history books there. And each section, each shelf actually quietly asks that question, where might you want to go next? And, honestly, as a woman over 50, I ask that question all the time. And I've noticed that that's a question most women 50 plus really ask themselves. They don't need a massive plan. None of us needs like this long-term strategic plan. We just need a spark. And so sometimes curiosity or tweaking our curiosity is as simple as picking up a book about a place or a life that you haven't lived yet. So let's take a look at Daunt Books in Marylebone.
We are now at Daunt Books, right on Marylebone High Street. It's old, as you can see, but it's an interesting bookstore. I'm going to take you in just a minute because I think it's fascinating that they went about a bookstore entirely different. And in fact, I asked the question, I was looking for a particular book for my granddaughter for her birthday. And they said they carry a few of kind of the traditional bestsellers, but they're really a travel bookstore, which I thought was a fascinating way to organize a bookstore. So let's go in. Descriptions. Got a little nonfiction section. But here you can see 2 books arranged by country. So let's take a little visit. Below is America, Africa, Asia, Australasia.
Oh, Thomas. Can I ask you
Russia. We'll go over to France because I know that area. And I'll show you what I mean. So, you can see you've got nonfiction, you've got basically fiction, you've got travel, how to be Parisian, Enchanting Paris, The Only Street in Paris, which was kind of an interesting book. So you see everything. Your travel guides, there's Michelin, but you also see fiction. Very cool. If you love a country, oh, that is one of my favorites. Actually, the president's hat is fantastic. I talk about this actually in my book. Parisian Perfection, HRH, the Duchess of Cornwall. So wonderful. But it gives you an idea of how the bookstore is organized. I find it so interesting. And then you can go up these little tiny stairs that are over there and hit these. You have counties of England, British history. And on this side, I don't know if I can see, if I get you to see now, can't because of the light. Isn't this sweet? You've got the normal gifts. Christmas. We are in the section for Russia. This is Poland. And then Ukraine, Russia. Very interesting. I might go downstairs just to see what's in the American section. What I find so interesting about this is that to actually learn about a place that you may want to travel to, one of the best ways to do that is to actually read fiction or biographies or travel journals rather than just travel. How do you want to say it? Like travel books. So, as an example, this is South America. I don't know if yes, they did. Here's Central America. So, let's say here's Peru. You know, you have all sorts of options to learn about that particular part of the world. History of that area, as well as what is going on currently, which I think is a really fascinating, because that's to be a good traveler, is to want to learn about a particular country, a particular area of the world, and what happened historically. And some of us from America know that we impacted many different areas of the world and continue to do so. So we all head back up. This particular area has got, they call it Asia and Australasia.
I've not heard that phrase before. So China's down here, Japan's down here, Israel's down here, Iran, Iraq, Palestine.
Okay. Interesting. Elaine's Scoliana written a number of books on Paris. And here is one. Is the Louvre Whisperer. You almost need a whisperer to get into the Louvre because it's so big. It's fascinating. What is the other one? The only street in Paris in the sun. She has lived in Paris for a long time. She was a writer, I think still is. Paris bureau chief for the New York Times. Gives you an idea. But we are in Daunt Books. Here's another one I would love to read. The English House by Dan Cruikshank. A history in 8 buildings. Oh, I would love it. Vermeer, A Life Lost and Found. Just interesting, really interesting.
Next was an unexpected visit. I had never been to this place before, and I actually read about it by someone who actually lives in London, and it's called Haywood Hill Bookstore. Very small. It is on a very old and famous street, Curzon Street. It was founded by George Haywood Hill in 1936. I'm telling you, you walk into this bookstore and it's like walking into somebody's living room or somebody's library. And even as you walk in, you kind of feel like you entered another time, which I think is so cool. There's nothing loud, nothing overwhelming, just, a few books here and there, thoughtful, intentional choices. And it reminded me that our next chapter doesn't have to be about adding more, does it? Sometimes it's just about refining. It's like choosing what's going to stay in our life and letting go of what no longer fits. There's something incredibly freeing about that at this age. So let's go to Haywood Hill Bookshop.
Haywood Hill, and I will tell you more about Nancy Mitford, writer, worked here 1942 to 1945. Isn't this fun? Very fun. Let's go in. Okay, I love this place. It is, you can see it in the little picture right here, Haywood Hill Limited Bookshop. And of course, someone's doing construction right outside the door. But I'm going to spin around. The shop is so tiny that I can't really show you what it looks like inside. But the history of this place is fascinating. And just to give you a little idea, this is off their website. Our little shop is an outpost of civilization and a place where good writing and beautiful books really matter. I love that. Absolutely love that. And also, John le Carré set a scene of the Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy actually in this bookshop, which is fascinating. But they have, I'm going to show you, they have a subscription that sounds incredible, absolutely incredible. One is for children, one is for teenagers, one can be customized to you where they actually interview you, and some are not, and instead of buying an advent calendar, why not give someone a subscription? I think that's so fun. So anyways, I had to share this with you. The bookshop started in 1936 in a different location, but on this street. And this street is really cool. Very cool street. So I will try to show you a bit of that. But This is a not to be missed bookshop. I have a friend whose husband loves to go and get a great shave. This place is so cool. So cool. I'm going to show you the name right here. But isn't that special? You don't see this too much with men. With some pampering, and it's old-fashioned. You can't really see in there. What a cool shop. I don't have a man in my life, but this is special. Okay, this is the outside. The bookstore is right there, Haywood Hill, and that is the shaving shop. Check out this. Unbelievable. We are in a very old section of London. I don't think I've hung out here at all. Couldn't you write a story about this bookseller? We are right next to what is Shepherd's Market. And it looks like all kinds of food. One food thing after another. Yes, one food thing after another. It's very interesting though. The old buildings. Don't you love this? I don't think I've ever seen something like this before. The pharmacy. And then there's all these little, we're in Mayfair, but there's all these little shops off the side. Fascinating. Look at this. Lots of work being done, but it's still really interesting. Love that sign. Give you a view.
The last bookshop I'm going to take you to is on Charing Cross Road. And Charing Cross Road was made famous by that wonderful book and then the subsequent movie called 84 Charing Cross Road. It's a beautiful movie. It's a beautiful book. So Charing Cross Road is rather famous. There is a bookstore, a used bookstore, secondhand bookstore called Henry Portes Books, Pordes. Secondhand shops like this always stop me in my tracks, no matter where they are. These books have lived lives, right? They've been loved. They've been abandoned. They've been rediscovered, kind of like us, right? I often say our stories don't need to be perfect to be meaningful, and they sure haven't been. And standing in the middle of that bookstore, or even outside the bookstore looking in, I saw those well-worn spines, and I was reminded that experience is not baggage. Experience is wisdom. We talked about that a little bit when we went into the whole process of our faces and skincare, which was the prior episode last week on this channel. Yeah, I love that. Experience is not baggage, it's wisdom. So let's go to Henry Portes.
Famous old bookstore. It's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. It's little, but it gives you an idea. We are on, actually the address is 71 Charing Cross Road, and it's called Henry Portes Books. I love this place. I don't know why, but if any of you saw the movie or read the book, I think it's 84 Charing Cross Road. This road, we are in the west. Where are we? We're in Covent Garden, and so kind of the theater district. Not fancy, but it's one old bookstore after another, and Asian, primarily I think Korean skincare. Very interesting. Cautionary tales for children. I might have to check that one out. My grandkids might need that. Let's go in though, because I think it's so fun. sorry. Very sorry. There was a tea book over here a while ago. Oh, here it is. I thought this was so interesting. Check it out. Isn't this fascinating?
Which one are you interested in? I've got the last.
I don't see any prices.
Okay. Yeah, so I've got the last three. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was anticipating.
There it is. £30.
Okay. Yep.
Fascinating, isn't it? They also have the most amazing posters. Look at the Chevrolet 1990. There's a Peugeot. Lanchester, that I've never heard of. Benz. Ideal. How interesting. Oh, it's all Jane Austen's. I am not a Jane Austen fan. How many of you are? I would love to know. I don't know why. I'm just not a fan. Never have been. I don't know what these are. They're metal books. I thought this was so cute. Love letters to the Beatles. Huh, is she a swinger? What an empire Miss Christie created. Interesting. Okay, I have 84 Charing Cross Road. Great movie. Anthony Hopkins, Anne Bancroft, Judi Dench. Old movie, but very fun. That was a used bookstore in the movie, and it actually was one. Now it's McDonald's. You gotta laugh.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. And here's what these London bookshops taught me. At this age, we don't need to reinvent ourselves, but we do need to be aware of our curiosity and whether or not we need to reclaim our curiosity. Curiosity is the habit that keeps us engaged with life, doesn't it? It's how we try on ideas without pressure, without commitment. We just try them on. And one small curiosity habit, one book, one class, one conversation can quietly change the direction of your next chapter. And I promised you that there would be something I wanted to share at the very end of this, and that is there's one small detail that I can't leave out, especially for those of you who truly love books like I do. Haywood Hill offers this extraordinary personal book subscription service. It's incredible. And I asked them, because everyone knows with the tariffs in the United States, whether or not they ship to the US, and they said they ship all over the world. No problem. The bookseller actually curates books specifically for you. There are all different kinds of options, whether it's mystery or fiction or children's books or whatever it might be, but there is even this option to customize your subscription based on a 1 hour conversation or 1 hour interview that they have with you about what you love, what you read, and what you might want to read next. Now, I can't think of a better metaphor for this stage of life. Someone is asking me, who are you now? What is it that you're drawn to? What might you enjoy next? Those are great questions, aren't they? Those are the questions we all want to ask ourselves. It's not about trends. It's not about being seen. And that, my friends, is exactly what we're doing when we design our own next chapters. We're choosing intentionally, one thoughtful selection at a time. So check out that subscription service. It's on Haywood Hill bookstore or bookshop, I think they call them in England. It's really quite interesting. So here's your gentle invitation this week. What are you curious about right now? And if you walked into a bookshop, what section would you walk towards? And what is one tiny action you could take to explore that curiosity? Remember, you don't need to know the ending. You just need to turn the page. I want to thank you for coming with me, everyone, into these London bookshops. Now, if this episode stirred something inside of you, subscribe and join me both here and over on Substack. Substack, I call YouTube, kind of interesting visual entertainment, if we want to call that. Substack is where we roll up our sleeves and get to work. It's where we go deeper into every single conversation that hopefully helps you to design your own fabulous next chapter. Until then, stay curious, trust your timing, and remember, your next chapter might just be one of your best chapters. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.